Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about DMZ, the brand new game mode that's come to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and subsequently Warzone 2. This was a game mode that was leaked a long time ago. It was rumored to be a lot like Escape from Tarkov. It was going to be an extraction-based shooter, something we've never really seen in the Call of Duty franchise before, and it's also something that's kind of newer to the FPS genre as a whole. So how is it? How does it work? Is it any good? Does it suck? Honestly, I think it's pretty good. I think DMZ is more of it's an extension of Spec Ops to an extent, if you ask me. It's more of a co-op or even a single player, if you want to play it that way to experience Warzone as well as Modern Warfare 2. There are tangible rewards for actually playing the game. It's a bit slow and it's a bit confusing, especially when you've never played a game mode like this before, but once you kind of have an idea of how it works, this is just a really chill place to go, do some missions, level up. You level up your guns, level up your character, and there are actually, like I said, rewards for doing different things, such as calling cards, emblems, operator skins, weapon blueprints, and things like that for doing the different faction missions that are available here within this game mode. So first things first, let's start off here at the very beginning. You're at the main menu. Here you're going to find your faction missions. These are the very first missions you get when you first boot up DMZ. Pretty simple stuff, basically things that are there to just kind of give you an idea of how to work the game mode as a whole. They want you to ping a contract, they want you to go and loot boxes and things like that. So you jump into the match. You can go in solo if you want. You can go in with squad fill on, and you can play with random people, or you can do what I did and play with 2 of your friends. The maximum party size is 3 within this game mode. We basically just ran around and did all the missions. All the AI are here, and the AI themselves, they appear to be like, if you're comparing it to the campaign, like recruit difficulty AI. The only big problem is when there's a bunch of them all in numbers, or maybe sometimes the armored ones will appear and they don't really die in one hit, so you have to actually put a few more shots in. But in general, if you only have one armor plate and you're facing a bunch of AI, they can be an issue, but overall, they're really not all that hard. It's a great place just to go, kind of like Invasion in a way, and just kill a bunch of AI and level up your weapons while you go through and do some of these different missions that are available to you. I will say there are other people in this game mode, but it's very few and far between that you actually run in to another squad or even just a single other person. We extracted maybe, I'm gonna call it 6 or 7 times the first night we were playing DMZ. In total, we ran into 3 people, like 3 actual other human beings. And I think a big part of that is most people that are playing DMZ don't necessarily care about leveling up in it. They don't care about the challenges. They care about the M13 weapon blueprint, which can only be acquired by going to the radiation zone and killing the chemist, then getting the weapon blueprint and then extracting. There's currently a bug, or I don't know if it's a bug or if it was intended or whatever, but if you can actually extract with the M13 blueprint, the very next game you can boot up and then drop that blueprint for your teammates, and as soon as they pick it up, they learn the weapon. Then they can drop the blueprint to their friend, and basically if one person ever gets this blueprint, they can give it to their entire friends list if they would want to. Me personally, I'm going to try and earn it by actually finding the chemist, taking him out, killing it, and extracting and all that, but that is something that's going on. So I think the majority of the people that are playing DMZ right now don't actually care about most of the things that are going on. They want the tangible reward. They want the weapon, which is something that I feel as though Infinity Ward and Activision should take note of when they're putting together their progression paths within Modern Warfare 2. I mean, you look at all these seasonal challenges, if you do every single one of them, you get a calling card. People don't care about that, but you make it so people can unlock a gun in DMZ. Everyone's going to one location like it's a battle royale trying to get that one weapon, you know what I mean? So they definitely should have more tangible and better rewards here in Modern Warfare 2, but the other rewards that are available in this game mode are actually pretty good, because once you start finishing up some of those missions, maybe you extract a couple of times, you unlock more missions, and some of these different missions have pretty decent rewards. We're talking about like this SCAR weapon blueprint right here, which doesn't look incredible. I'm not going to say it's the coolest looking blueprint in the world, but for having done that challenge, I believe it was Infiltrate the Stronghold, for actually doing that, we got that weapon blueprint, and that's the only way to get that blueprint is to do the challenges within DMZ, infiltrate a stronghold, and then, actually be able to exfil. It was pretty cool, actually. And so I like having rewards that are very specific to DMZ. It sort of reminds me of what Blackout was like back in the day, where you could get Blackout specific characters, or you could get Blackout specific like number skins and things like that for doing different things within the game mode. We have something similar here in DMZ, so I definitely get a little bit of Blackout vibes in that sense. Other than that, it's really not similar to Blackout whatsoever. But as you continue to do more of these missions, you unlock different tiers. If you do all tier 1 missions for the Legion faction, for example, you'll then unlock the tier 2 missions. Do all the tier 2, you then unlock tier 3. I think in total there's 5 tier missions for each one of the factions, and there's 3 factions. And yeah, so there's a lot of challenges to actually do here, and it's going to take a considerable amount of time if you plan to get through the entire thing. Now, I can't say what the tier 5 rewards are going to be. I was very disappointed by this one reward. It was going to be an operator skin called Invisible or something like that, and it looked kind of cool, like as you're looking at it right there. And then once we actually completed the missions and we extracted and we go back to the main menu, we're like, all right, let's see it. And then it was like, oh, it's a recolor, and it's not even a good one. Like, the original skin looks even better than this one. But regardless, there are these different rewards that you have in there, which is actually pretty neat. If you're wondering about the game mode itself, you go in and you can lose your guns. Like, that's a thing that can happen, but it really isn't that big of a deal. You have an insured slot, which means the weapon in your insured slot can be customized with your own personal attachments. But if you die and then you don't extract with that weapon or anything like that, the weapon goes away for like an hour and then you can use it once again. That's really what it comes down to. And when you do extract or exfil, I'm just going to interchange those two words back and forth because they basically mean the same thing. But if you do extract, and whatever you have in your backpack is going to go with you to the main menu, right? So if you extract with a 74U in your backpack, well, now you have a 74U in your stash right here that you can use in other games, right? So you can decide to go right on in with a 74U or an M4, or maybe you found a sniper rifle like I like to use, or anything like that, you know what I mean? And going into the game, you just make sure you set up your missions, you choose your loadout based on what you want to do within that match. And then for us, like the way I'm playing it, the way my friends Nate and Sean are playing, we basically just run around like it's a co-op game. Rarely do we run into other people. If we do see like another team off in the distance, like if they're activating a UAV tower or whatever, we just leave them be. I mean, maybe they're looking for a fight, but if they're really looking for a fight, go play multiplayer, man. Go play Warzone. Like, it seems like DMZ is the kind of place where there's really no, and maybe I'll have to look up videos on this and maybe you guys know better and you can inform me down there in the comments, but it really doesn't seem like there's a reason why you should want to hunt down enemy players. Like, oh, you can go take their stuff. And it's like, well, I get that's a big thing in Tarkov, but like, what's really all that great to take here? The best like equipment in the game would be whatever gun that you can choose to go in with, like a loadout, so anyone has access to the weapons. You could be hunting down like a tier 3 armor satchel, but those aren't that hard to find. You could be trying to hunt down a gas mask, but again, not very hard to find. You know, there's really nothing that I would overly want from another player, so why would I take the time and risk losing my challenge and my mission progress by trying to kill them? You know what I mean? It just doesn't really make any sense. Like, the risk factor is not there. And to my understanding, as the game goes on longer and longer, eventually you're going to run out of time. And when you run out of time, the gas starts to come in, similar to Warzone. And apparently, again, we have not done this. We just take all of our stuff, do our missions, and extract. But apparently, if you don't extract, it'll eventually kind of become like a battle royale where the final team may actually just straight up win. And maybe there's some sort of incentive or reward for doing that. But for me, and I would presume the vast majority of other people out there, DMZ is basically just an extension of Spec Ops. It's basically a place where you can go in solo, or you can go in with friends, or even, I guess, you could fill once again. You can have randoms on your team as well, but it seems more like a PvE co-op mode that rewards you with weapon XP, player XP, and then a metric shit ton of challenges for you to do for the different factions that sometimes will give you just experience, sometimes they'll give you, you know, more weapon XP, sometimes they'll give you like an XP token or whatever, and sometimes they actually give you things like calling cards, emblems, operator skins, weapon blueprints, and things like that. So for the completionist in me, I plan to go all throughout DMZ. I want to do, you know, tier 5 missions for every single faction. I want to unlock every single operator skin, every single weapon blueprint, you know what I mean? And it's just a pretty chill place to go because, again, you're mostly facing AI. I have heard some people say the AI are tough. I don't see it. They really do feel like recruit difficulty AI. Sometimes they do melt you. I will say, like, if you're not paying attention and there's one of them hiding behind a wall and you run in through the door, they shoot you in the back and you don't have any armor, then they will actually just like two-tap you and you die, and that does suck. But in general, make sure you have your armor equipped. If you're playing with friends, stick relatively close together, and most of the time the AI aren't even a problem. So what is DMZ? Basically a big PvE co-op experience that occasionally has other players in it, where you can do a bunch of challenges on the new Warzone 2 map. You get to explore the Warzone 2 map kind of at your own pace, and the missions themselves are actually pretty interesting, the ones that you pick up. Like, there's one where we had to go like kill a bunch of AI off of a boat, and then we had to take that boat and take it all halfway across the map pretty much, so a helicopter could grab the stash off the boat, and that gave us like $10,000. And the money itself is pretty irrelevant. It's not like a game like Tarkov where you can extract with your money and then you have a bunch of money in your bank and you can use that money for other things. Your money is just converted into experience at the end of the match. So if you're looking to level up quickly, this honestly doesn't seem like a great place to do it. You get decent XP, but it seems like if you really want to level up your character fast, like playing something like Shoot House or Shipment when that comes out seems like the way to go. But you get experience based on how much money you have left over at the end of the match, and plus everything in your backpack that's an actual item, you get to take that to your stash and you can use those in your upcoming games, essentially. But like I said, the missions, sometimes you have to hunt down these high value targets. The Warzone 2 map itself is pretty cool. Like, we were hunting down this one target, and I hope I have footage of all this. If I don't, I'm sorry, but I was recording mostly everything. But we're hunting down this one guy, and before I realized it, I'm like, guys, we're in Showdown from COD 4. And they're like, yeah, that's pretty cool, right? And obviously there's Dome from Modern Warfare 3, and like all the different locations that are available within the Warzone 2 map. Al Mazrah, I think it's called. It's pretty cool, honestly. So it's a good game mode. Will it be like the future of the COD franchise? Will it be the future of Warzone 2? I really don't think so. Right now it's in beta, however, and I wonder what changes they are going to make going forward, because I don't believe, and I might be wrong, but I don't believe the intent was to make this like a PvE co-op experience where you have like a very small chance of accidentally running into another squad. I'm thinking they want player-on-player combat to be a bit more of a threat than it is currently, and maybe they're going to change that in the future. But for right now, it's a pretty chill place to go, shoot up some AI, level up your guns, level up your soldier, do some pretty actually fun and interesting missions. I'm sure eventually they'll get kind of samey. And most games are like that. You know, if you play like an MMO, for example, one time you'll do a mission, you're like, wow, that's pretty cool. Then later on, they're like, hey, do that mission again. You're like, oh, that's kind of boring. You know, so eventually you're going to end up doing the same thing over and over again. But for right now, the missions are pretty varied and they're pretty interesting, and there are rewards for doing this. And so as a result, I find it kind of fun. But ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. There is my review / impressions of the new DMZ game mode within Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave your thoughts and feedback on DMZ down there in the comment section below, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.